everyone. I have got probably 15 to 20 minutes to create this video. I already filmed one, but the lighting was quite bad because at that time the sun was shining onto my desk and I tried with studio lights and just wasn't really good. So I thought I'll scrap that video and start again. I wanted to share with you a Derwent Pastel Shades Paint Pan Set. This set has been sent to me by Derwent a while ago to try out, and I will be honest, I wasn't sure if I will like it or not, purely because of the color palette. It wasn't really, how should I say, I didn't feel connected with it, but there's something that I found out through playing a little bit with it, so I wanted to share that with you, and so you can see and make that decision for yourself whether that's a palette that you'd be interested in or not. So we have 12 colors here. We have lemon, peach, coral pink, pink flamingo, orchid pink, lavender, cornflower blue, turquoise, mint, artichoke, storm grey, silver blue. So the colors that I do like as they come and find quite contemporary to my color palette are these three at the end: the artichoke, storm grey and silver blue. Neutral type of like a coffee, latte, taupe color, that sort of a thing. That's nice. And then let's see if we add a bit of the artichoke into that. A bit more. Then we get this lovely beige. Let's see what happens if we add the brighter color. Turquoise. We're going back into these muted tones. Still a neutral though. It's more of a grayed down with a hint of a turquoise. Okay, let's go back into lemon. Now this is very close to a sage color, this one, the artichoke, but with a bit more yellow in there. So if you wondered whether you can mix up lovely neutrals, I'd say you can. You just need to give it a good go. Oh, this is a lovely color. And let's try this peach here. This peach is really much like the coral pink and lemon together, but if you wanted to quickly get to this color without mixing those two, I'll just go into here. Okay, let's go into mint again. Again, we're sort of close to a sage color, so a bit more grayer than the artichoke. Let's add a bit more pink flamingo in here. I like these coffee colors. They're lovely. And what else? Let's add a bit more lemon. And a bit more mint. So here I'm just kind of looking to create an interesting green. So that's a nice green. Oh, it's getting hot in here. Right, cornflower blue. And let's see what happens if we add lavender to that. Oh, that's a pretty color. Okay, so I'm going to swatch that out and then add a bit more of the lavender because I liked what happened there. Now this is very pretty. I'm just going to finish by adding a bit more and more of the lavender. Oh, this is very pretty grey. Very interesting one. So if you wanted an option to a different grey than this, you could definitely create some lovely greys. Okay, bit more. So we start to lean towards, oh yeah, this is pretty. Yesterday I took this palette out into the garden and I took some pencils out and I started doing some abstract painting, like a mini one. And I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm looking at it now as I'm speaking. I cannot show it because it's a little secret for now that I cannot share just yet. But yeah, I absolutely loved it. Though what I did was actually, I didn't even swatch the colors yet. I swatched them just this morning. I did go straight in mixing my own colors, and the colors that I mixed I really, really liked. So I'm just going to show you those colors and hiding away whatever you don't need to see just now. And these are the colors that I mixed and I really like them. So if you look at the swatches, they're quite different. So what I would say, what I found out through using this palette is this palette makes it quite easy to create loads of other colors without you needing to pull out your white gouache, your white watercolor, whatever white medium that you want to work with to create pastel colors. So usually how this works in watercolors, you would take whatever colors you like, add some white to them, and boom. Here, this is all done for you, so you already have all these colors with that pastel look to them. You know, those kind of like ice cream type of colors. But you can take it much further rather than using them like that. I managed to make this color palette or this palette work for me, and this is how I did it, and that's why I wanted to share it with you. So there's a number of colors that I mixed. Loads of different turquoises, which you can see are more contemporary and slightly more toned down and neutralized. So these are these colors. Some peaches, which are very, very pretty. I could have gone on for longer. There's a lovely color which reminded me of Potter's Pink without the granulating aspect. Although this color here, lavender, kind of looks like it could potentially granulate. I wonder if I added some granulating medium to it, whether that would create that sort of cobalt violet type of a color. All right, so, and then I proceeded to mixing some lovely neutrals and even some of these grays, which reminded me a little bit if I used Payne's Gray and added white to it. Not as opaque because there's loads of water in these. Yeah, so that was fun. So what I thought I'll do today is I'll do a little abstract play, and what I found, because these are so light and this is the darkest color, and when adding it to some of those mixtures, you're not going to go anywhere darker than these. So the palette is still quite light. Now you could pull out your black or your burnt umber from your watercolor sets and make it more deeper and darker, but what I thought I'll do, I'll just use pencils, and I might use Derwent Lightfast or the Inktense pencils. So these Lightfast, they came in this box here, the 72 box, but I just find it easier to store it in one of these, so it's kind of like a book, and I just flip through and find the color that I need. Or the Inktense also 72, which was my first ever pencil purchase. Oop. And I absolutely loved it. And I was obsessed with it for years, and I still enjoy using it. So the Inktense Pencils. Okay. By the way, if you haven't seen, I also have quite a few reviews of these paint pan sets already on my channel. There's, I think, Inktense, and there's something else there. Anyway, I'll try to link it up here for you to watch. All right, let's start with a little abstract on this side. So the brush I'm going to be using is a 10-0 Quill Jackson's art brush. The sketchbook is also Jackson's sketchbook. I'll try to link everything down below. It's a 35% cotton paper, and it's 160 GSM, so you can see it does warp. It doesn't like too much water, but it works fine with watercolor if it's not too much of it. So I'm going to mix up this artichoke. Well, I'm not sure if I'm mixing up any colors. I'm just going to go with it. So although I said earlier that typically in watercolor this is what you would do, you would add white to make a pastel color, I actually don't know how these have been formulated, because these are not your typical watercolors. So I have no idea how they formulated it, because once you start painting with them, you don't actually see white that much. Especially if you use quite a bit of water, they're just sort of like light colors. Like this specific one could have some white, but it's not that evident. Okay, so just going to create some shapes. And possibly some of this grey as well into it. Okay, and then what else would I add to this? Let's do a little bit of pink, right? So I'm just going to add some pink onto here. It's more of like a, how would you say, like a powder pink, velvet pink. Alright, I'll leave it as that, and then, like I mentioned before, when you're working with such pastel and light colors, you do need some contrast, and for the contrast, I'm going to pick a color. I think I want a little bit of brightness into there, and the color that I'm looking for is not here. Alright, so here, slightly dusted, but never mind. This is my color palette pencils that I keep here. Actually, quite a few of these pencils would work. So these are the colors that I tend to go to quite often. So look, now this is adding a bit of that pop. Because you have everything so tamed down, adding any color will work so much better if you already would have worked with more vibrant colors to begin with. If that makes sense. So it really enables you to create just more contrast by starting with more pastel colors. So I'm just creating texture here. Now the Inktense pencils, which is what I used here, the first color was Sherbet Lemon, of course, I love it, and Spring Green. So what you do then is take your water and blend it a little. It works better on white paper. So here we had already some we had some paint there, so maybe I'll go in. There you go, you can see now it pops a lot better. You can go wet into wet as well, and then softening it down if it's too much. So I just love it. They're really fun pencils, and in particular I love working with them with these paint sets. It's kind of a great addition. And to add even more contrast, I would go with a dark pencil. I just want a simple black pencil that is not going to dissolve or do anything. And in the Lightfast we have a range of options. So we've got the black, we've got midnight black, which is more sort of like a grey, and there's a Mars black. So let me just swatch out quickly all three just to see which black would be the best, and then I will decide what to do. So I'm just going to swatch this one, which hopefully you can see. So this is the midnight black. It's actually quite nice. Oh, I see. Now I really like this one. So the next one was Mars black, and then we have other black. Okay, so the black is blacker than the Mars black. Mars black is a bit warmer toned, but the first one is like a very, very dark indigo, almost black, and I think this is the color I'm going to go for. It just looks really good, but for that I need this to be completely dry. So I'm gonna go with my heat tool because I really have no time and just quickly blast it. So if you really wanted to feel like an artist, just grab yourself any acrylic paint and a little tool like this, which I absolutely adore, Catalyst W06. I'll try to link it as well, and just kind of do something, you know. You don't need to think too much, just stick it on there, see what happens. I actually think I want it to be like that. There we go. I like the textures, and everything is going to dry so quick now because of course it's very, very hot. This is how you achieve a lovely bit of texture. So just lay it on thick and then just lift your tool. So I think I'm just going to connect these two, because otherwise it's fine if you lose some detail. That's absolutely fine. That's what art is all about. You can see a little bit popping out here, popping out there. So the eye will wander around. When it comes to abstract art, just let the art do its thing, or the eye rather do its thing, and the eye will find things still. Even if you think you have taken most of them down or covered them up, nope, you can't trick the eye. Okay, so while the things are still wet, obviously I can't do anything, so I'm going to blast it again. So what I'm going to do now is do the rule of 3, and that is I'm going to connect my composition by adding some contrast, and this contrast will be with this very dark pencil, which I want to layer over some areas and connect the pieces. It's going to go over the acrylics, over the watercolors, just to blend everything in. And some paper as well, that's important. And then I'm going to create like a line where the eye will be going towards, so like guiding the eye this way and then here. So these two are kind of focal points, but we want to create a lovely balanced atmosphere in the painting. So I'm just going to do that. Okay, so that is it. A really quick abstract, loads of fun. We started with a pastel background, which is so easy to create with the, where is it gone? Or with the Pastel Shades Paint Pan Set. And then, oh, I've done a bit of a boo-boo. Anyway, why don't I do that here? I actually quite like that. There we go, even better. Okay, so we started with the pastel colors. We added some really opaque paint medium, which is the acrylic paint, and then we brought back in some contrast and loads of little color speckles here, which of course pop much better on a pastel background than they would on other colors. So that's something I have really enjoyed about this Pastel Shades Paint Pan set. If you're interested, the link is down below. And thank you for watching. I will see you next time.